What is going on, everybody? So I figured, since it's NFC Championship game week, I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
And the Rams are seeing each other for the third time this year. It would be fitting that I had a Rams YouTuber on, and I figure why not the best one I know?
Oh, you're too kind.
I know. AO time back. I figured I'd give him a shout out. He said he would do it, so he's on. We're here. It's live. Let's do this. Zach, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing so good. Thanks for having me on. I love talking football. I appreciate your channel and just thank you so much for having me on and for all the hard work you put into your channel. Your subscribers and viewers are very blessed. To have someone who you seem to have a real kind of a connection to the heartbeat of the Niners, and that's something I appreciate about you, Aaron. And I think you're doing a great job on this whole YouTube thing. And I'm ready to talk some football tonight because we got the Rams, we got the Niners, the rivalry, and the odds and the stakes have never been higher because it is NFC Championship game going to the winner goes to the Super Bowl, loser goes home.
I think the last time they played in a championship game was the 89-90 season.
Yeah.
The year that the Niners beat the Bengals 55-10. And that game was in favor of the Niners. The Niners had a really crazy playoff run that year. They just blew everybody out. It was kind of the end of the Montana, Ronnie Lott, that era of players once that next season ended after that season. So, yeah, it's been a long time. I had a feeling in a way if we advanced that we might see you guys again. I just had this feeling in my mind. I didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
We were talking off screen or off before we went live. And I have it as one of my topics, but I guess I'll just get into it now. The whole law of averages thing, man. It's like, I really don't want to play the Rams. I'm not saying I'm afraid of the Niners playing the Rams, but the law of averages says eventually the Rams are going to get us, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to play the Bucks. It's a neat thing. Unfortunately, in sports, just like in life, you don't get what you want, and we're playing the LA Rams once again.
Yeah.
It's a game that I think is going to be different than what we've seen the last couple games. I think there's going to be just a different feel to this game because it's a playoff game. So the last game we played, you guys went up early, really big, almost blew us out. We had to wait. We came back somehow. I don't know how. I feel like if we approach this game like we did that game and we fall to you guys early, I think that'd be a bad move. So hopefully we can keep it more competitive and it's more of a competitive game throughout instead of us falling early and then possibly getting boat raced. You know what I mean? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that this is a game that with two teams that know each other really well, and thanks, Bo.
I had to put that up because I saw that.
It's funny. I had a subscriber who's a season ticket holder at SoFi, and he mailed this to me. It was a fan gift, which I appreciate. I really can't say that anything that happened in the regular season and it's a well-known stat that they'll love to talk about on Good Morning Football and stuff like that the Niners have beaten the Rams 6 straight times. And as a Rams fan, of course, I want that streak to end right here, right now in the playoffs. I did want to, I'll be honest, the Ramley is very divided on this. I remember when that Week 18 loss came, and Ram fans were frustrated because we thought we finally could break it, right, and beat the Niners, get over that hump. Immediately after the game, I was like, I want to play the Niners in the playoffs. And when I calmed down and I did the math, and I'm like, okay, logically, the only way we're going to play the Niners is if we get to the championship game and they get there too, just based on kind of seeding. So when the Niners were playing the Packers, and it was a cold, ugly day. That was an ugly game,
super ugly,
a lot of ways. And I can't imagine you and the Niners fandom having to just that's a grind, right? Like to go through that. And so when they had that block punt, that was the moment where I'm like, Niners are going to do this. Like the Niners are going to win this game. And they won it. And, in a playoff, who cares if you win it ugly or win it pretty?
right.
You won it, right?
That's
And so then when it came to, we had the lead on the Bucks, and I was not one of those people that's like, oh, we got it in the bag, like, we got it. I was very much one of those people that's like, okay, Brady's still there. The Bucks are a good team. They can put up points fast. And sure enough, they did. And like, we had so many bizarre like fumbles, which for all the Niner fans who comment on my video about Cam Akers having 2 fumbles, I'm optimistic that Cam is not going to have 2 fumbles in every game the rest of his career, which because up to this point he's been pretty solid in that regards. But Kupp had a weird fumble. I think that's like the first fumble of Kupp's career. And yeah, it was just a weird game to it. The snap that goes over Stafford's head, right? And so I'm thankful that the Bucks had all the momentum at home, and Stafford was able to just take that momentum and steal it from them into one drive to get us into field goal range and hit Kupp for that epic long play. Matt Gay sends us into the NFC Championship game to face the 49ers. I'm stoked for this game. I know there are, as I was mentioning before, there are some Ramley members like myself who are pumped for it. Other members that are like, just the Niners have our number. We don't want to play them. Like, why did it have to be the Niners? Why did it have to be the Niners? And I can empathize with them for sure, and hear those different perspectives. But in general, I'm pretty stoked to play the Niners again. And I think it's going to be a good game. I think it is going to be a higher scoring game.
Me too.
I think that, it might come down to, does Jimmy G or Stafford throw that costly interception at the costly time, or is there a muff, on a punt or something? Those mistakes that just get escalated in the playoffs, it seems.
It's funny. I was watching a game and I wasn't necessarily bashing the Rams. I told my brother, I was like, I have a feeling Brady's going to come back in this one. Right. I was like, the Rams are up. It's too easy. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I said, guaranteed Brady brings him back. That's what I said.
Yeah.
And I said it and I'm like, I didn't really believe it. And then as it started happening and all these weird things started happening, I'm like, dude, this game's rigged.
Yeah.
This game's rigged. They want Brady to win. So then I started getting back into that. Let's the Rams, hopefully the Rams win. Cause like I went back into my Tom Brady hate for a minute and I was just like, I got reminded of why I can't stand games that involve Tom Brady, the refs, weird stuff that happens, like unexplainable turnovers that never occur at any other time. Just like weird things you can't explain. I'm like, nope. I think with the Niners and the Rams, it's the perfect game because it's two teams in the same division. One team, I think the Rams, who have been more successful over the most recent years. And they put all their money and all their ducks into one bag, getting all these high level contract players to kind of make a run for it. Whereas the 49ers are a little bit more, build by the draft, sprinkling free agents here and there. It's kind of like a clash of styles. One's more high flying, one's more physical. Both coaches are kind of uppity. They're like slightly douchey. Like they're very cocky in their way of thinking.
Yep.
But it all doesn't matter what happened in the regular season.
Yep.
This is 0-0, man. This is the right to go to the big game. So I just hope it's a competitive game where the Niners have a chance to win at the end. And I know you probably feel the same way. You don't want it to be a blowout. I mean, of course, if we blew you guys out or you guys blew us out, you'd be happy because then you could just relax.
Yeah.
But in my mind's eye, I'm thinking I want a game where, like, if we win, it's like it's a good game either way, and not like a complete barn burner where like one team just gets boat raced out of the building. Yeah. And that's kind of my fear with you guys a little bit is just we played you guys so close, or not close. We played you close last time, and then the other time before we kind of put it to you guys on the early one in the early in the season. I'm like, are we due to get boat raced ourselves in this one? So there's like all these thoughts going through my head right now.
And yeah, and I think that's part of the fun of being a fan and playing those rivalry games, is there is that little anxiety, and whether the Rams were playing the Packers or the Niners were playing the Bucks, we'd still have that. But the fact that we're have that extra layer of that rivalry game, and no one's talking about it, but I actually think right now in the NFL, the Rams Niners rivalry is probably one of the better ones that's active right now, just because both teams are competitive and clearly competing for a Super Bowl. And so I'm stoked to be part of it. And I'm a fan. I've been a Rams fan for a long time, and I remember the years where you're like wishing your team wins and like hoping, but it's really cool going into games expecting your team to win and being like, you know what, like we can beat any team in the NFL. Like we have a talented roster to do that. And I'm so thankful for this season. It's been a fun season to be a Rams fan. The Rams, I like, and again, forgive me for bragging about my channel a bit, but being a Rams YouTube content creator is a lot of fun because they make headlines. And anytime they do these trades or they sign OBJ in the middle of the season or something like that, it just gives you so much to talk about. And like now in contrast, draft coverage for the Rams is really hard. I learned that last year, and this year it's gonna be even harder because we don't have a pick till the third round.
That's crazy.
It's funny. I got an invitation from a YouTuber who does like mock drafts every week, and he's like, I want to bring you on to do a mock draft for the Rams, and I'm like, dude, like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know how to do a mock draft for the Rams. Like, there's so many speculations that. But that being said, Sean McVay is a fun coach to cover. We have a lot of fun, big personality players, but also like you also have guys that like Cooper Kupp, who he's very talented, but also very humble in his demeanor, and just like as a football fan, it's easy to cheer for Cooper Kupp. And like I've had Niners fans and other fans from other teams say like my favorite player on the Rams is Cooper Kupp, just because you love the guy on and off the field.
It's funny, you talk about the Rams making headlines, and then you get the Niners who, when they win a game, they don't talk about what the Niners did well. They don't talk about what's good on the Niners. It's always the teams that make the headlines, like the Rams, Cowboys. The Niners always get that coverage, and I'm okay with it, where they get kind of backburnered a little bit, where they talk more about the other team. And I'm okay with that underdog mentality where people don't respect us in a way. I don't know how you feel about it, but like, you're right. You guys make a lot of splashy moves. You're kind of like the New York Yankees of football a little bit. Like, you go for it. Like, we're just going to screw the draft. We're just going to go for it. Where the Niners are like the Oakland A's, they play the money ball approach, and hopefully they can get there. They never overpay for anybody. Well, sometimes, but yeah, there's always two ways to skin a cat, and you can do it the Rams way, which has worked to an extent. I mean, you guys have one Super Bowl appearance you lost, but you've been in the dance or in the mix every single year pretty much since McVay's took over. So,
and we won a Super Bowl in '99. Don't take that away from us.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And then we also went to the Super Bowl in 01 as well. So, yeah. But yeah, I want to shout out everyone in the chat. I see Silly Fun Guy in there, and Big
Somebody
City
said,
Man.
Big City Man said, get this. Oh, but he's such a nice guy, though. He's a cool Rams fan. I really don't have any really ill will towards anybody. I'll tell you one person or two people that I really have some ill will towards, who I hope we don't have to play the Chiefs, and that is the fiance of Patrick Mahomes and his brother. Probably two of the most annoying.
Oh man!
She sprayed champagne out of like a suite or something and got it all over some people's clothes, and it was just like, how? And she's like annoying and loud, and like, I'm not one of those people. Go ahead.
I don't use this word often. I know she's excited and things like that. And I generally try to stay away from criticizing other people's things, but like
Yeah,
it's really pompous.
super pompous.
Yeah, like that's the best way. Like when you're up there in your box and stuff, and you just spray it out over people like that, and yeah, like some people I think are just so disconnected from reality, especially like it's the people that they paid a lot of money for the cheap seats, and they probably like went into credit card debt to get those seats, and
Yeah,
then here's this rich person in a box
who has
spraying
zero
them.
talent. She's just there on the
Yeah,
shoulders of her fiance.
yeah.
Yeah, that really, man. And then his brother just, oh, get out of here with that. Dude's twerking and stuff. Just, I don't even know what to say, bro.
Yeah,
I really don't know
yeah,
what to say. So, yeah, I don't have that ill will towards the Rams other than I just want us to win.
yeah.
If we go against the Chiefs, man, I'm going to be like, if this freaking lady and her brother-in-law, future brother-in-law, they win again, and I got to see this trash on ESPN again, I'm going to be mad. So, but let's not put the cart before the horse. We still have a game on Sunday. I'm excited too, but I'm like cautiously optimistic because
Yeah.
here's the thing. Our teams are both really good, right? In different ways. The difference is, and I know a lot of people are going to freaking crucify me for this, but that's okay. I can take it. You've seen so much good quarterback play in these playoffs, and you see how much a great quarterback matters. Now the Niners they run their offense differently. They're more of a run first oriented team, and you know Jimmy's more of a facilitator than he is a gunslinger. But man, I get jealous watching some of these teams, like even the Rams, like the way that Stafford hit that big pass to Cooper Kupp. I don't know if it took the lead or got you guys within field goal position at the end of the game. I forgot what was
it
it.
got us in field goal position, and we ran down the field, clocked it, and then Matt Gay was able to chip it up and to send us to the game.
That's where my trepidation is about this game.
Yeah,
it's just the difference at that position. Now Stafford can make you scratch your head because he's got an all-world talented arm, but like you said, he makes these mistakes, kind of like Jimmy, where you're just like, "What are you doing, man?" Like you almost like you get high on them or you get hyped on them, and then they do something to remind you of why they have a certain label or they're perceived a certain way, and that's kind of what it happens to me constantly. So. Yeah, that's kind of my biggest thing coming into this game is just the feeling and a little bit and a lot of the doubt of can we compete with you guys from a quarterback standpoint? But at the same time, listen, quarterbacks or the playoffs, you know, I'll shut up and eat crow. Jimmy comes out and goes throw for throw with your guy, and the game comes down to whatever at the end. I'll give him his props on here, just like I'll come on here and get pissed off at him too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say he wasn't part of the win or this or that. But yeah, it's definitely my biggest concern going into this game with you guys is just that there's three really, really fantastically talented quarterbacks, and then there's kind of Jimmy, and just leaves me with a little bit of trepidation.
Yeah. Yeah, and something kind of fun headed into this game from a Rams fan perspective is so the game is on January 30th, right?
Mm-hmm.
January 30th is the day that the Rams agreed to the trade with the Lions for Stafford. So it's pretty much 1 year from the day that, because they had to agree in principle because it couldn't be official until the start of the new league year. But if you remember, like all Super Bowl week, people, oh, hey, Ramelia, good to see you, my friend. But they had to agree in principle, and people Super Bowl week were talking about the Rams trading for Stafford, and so it's kind of cool that it's come full swing, and here it is, and even the fact that the Rams have an opportunity to win the NFC title in their own stadium and then go to the Super Bowl that they're hosting, that's really, really, just, I don't know, as a fan, I'm really thankful for that opportunity to get to cheer on my team that way. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many good storylines headed into this game. but I got there's a player I mentioned him to you before.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't mind, I'm gonna go on I'm gonna step on a soapbox a little bit here.
Get on your soapbox, Ben. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Preach.
I think the Rams can win this game.
Okay.
I think the Niners can win this game. For the Rams to win this game, as I've kind of been doing my reading and previewing for this game, and I rewatched most of the Week 18 game, which again, it doesn't matter. Like, it happened, but now it's a new game, new adventure. I believe that Deebo Samuel is going to do his thing. He's that good. He's going to do his thing.
I completely agree with you regardless.
I think that, we can, do our best to contain him, but he's going to do his thing. He's going to have over 100 yards and a touchdown. I then look to Kittle, Ayuk, and Jennings. I think the Rams need to stop two of those three. And the one that, if you rewatch that comeback from the Niners, the key player is actually Juwan Jennings.
Yep.
He made so many third down conversions that if he doesn't make them, the Niners probably don't have a chance to keep those drive alive, to get the full comeback, on. And I again, I'm optimistic that the Rams can contain Juwan Jennings. He's a big guy, big boy. I think that the Rams DBs will have their hands full for sure. And Kittle in his own right, he can take over a game. I'm well aware of that. Now, he has had some games where it seems like he's used more as a blocker and he doesn't get that many targets, and I guess that's on Kyle Shanahan. So I don't know if that will be the course, but Ayuk, I do believe he can have the big play for sure. But if we can contain two of those three, I think the Rams will have a really good shot of beating the Niners this game. What are your thoughts?
I agree. A lot of people are talking about the Packers game, and I think that game had a lot to do with the conditions.
Yeah.
One of the reasons the Niners struggled, because the Packers are a really high-powered team too, and they didn't do diddly poo. Only had one touchdown drive, so take that into consideration. I always feel like you got to throw the record books out the window when teams face in the playoffs or divisional teams face, because one, each other really well, so there's an advantage. And also there's a disadvantage because you know each other's weaknesses too and strengths. Mm-hmm. The way I look at this game, kind of similar. Cooper Kupp is the key to your guys' offense. He is the straw that stirs the drink. So the Niners' number one and number two focus should be on doing their best. They're not going to stop Cooper Kupp because he's a freaking maniac. He's quick and just stresses me out when I watch him. Is trying to contain him as much as you can, and make Stafford kind of go to his other reads. You guys have a lot of talent. As far as I think, was it Jefferson, Higbee, right? The tight end.
Big hit.
And you have a good decent crop of running backs too.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is that with the Niners, it's more or less the Niners have to kind of dictate pace in this game. Because if we let you guys dictate pace, it's a pace that like I said, I don't think the Niners, to me, and I've said this before, and some Niner fans disagree with me, we're a front running team. Okay. What I mean by that is not a negative thing. We're better when we have the lead and we can run the ball.
Yeah.
When it comes to having to play shootouts with people, we just don't have the quarterback for that. We don't. Now, I'll say this about Jimmy. He is clutch sometimes. There's been times where, like against the Rams, that last drive.
Yeah.
So to say he's completely useless would be ridiculous. But one thing, too, my brother did make a point of about that game. Because I was like, man, that Rams rush looks really dangerous. My brother goes, here's a difference. He goes, the Bucs throw it all the time. You guys don't. He goes, you guys can keep the Rams kind of off, not off center, but you can keep them, because when a team throws, you just brush and just do your best to knock that quarterback on his butt.
Yeah.
And we hit you guys with a lot of movement, a lot of motion, a lot of different looks, a lot of different plays from similar formations. And you guys kind of do the same thing because our coaches were from the same place. So to me, it's not let this game get into a shootout. And yeah, if you guys can figure out a way to if Debo does his thing and everybody else doesn't, that could spell problems for us. I think Elijah Mitchell has to have a good game.
Yeah.
I think that's one of our one way we can get you guys is by running the ball and running it effectively. Because I think when we run the ball at the clip we do, where we get big gain, or you get second and short, third and short, it makes things easier for Jimmy. Because if you noticed in that game against the Packers, one of the drives we got really close, and then we had a penalty that took us out. The Niners have an issue with moving the ball really, really well between the 20s, get into to 10 to 15 yard line, and then have a holding or a penalty that takes them out, and then they're not. And then, of course, Jimmy threw the pick last week when that happened. So,
and I saw that there was a stat about the Niners that for a chunk of the season they had the best red zone offense.
Yeah.
But then in the last 4 weeks, it went down dramatically.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Teams clamp down in the playoffs. Jimmy, the way he likes to, dictate things is to throw over the middle. So teams are probably clouding it up, forcing him to go into areas that he's not comfortable with, which is outside the numbers. He doesn't have the arm for it, at least on a consistent basis. Jimmy he works that into, that intermediate, short to intermediate area. He's good at it. But yeah, definitely. I agree with you on if Debo's the only one that does anything and we get shut down in all other areas, I think we're going to have some problems. So the way I look at it is for us, we got to be multiple in what we do. We can't just be like the Debo Samuel show. So, it's Elijah Mitchell doing well, Debo running well from the running back position as well as playing receiver. Kittle needs to get involved in this game. Kittle needs to be part of this game because that's one thing I think a lot of people say that the Rams linebacking core as far as is kind of somewhat their weakness as far as covering tight ends. I don't know if you've heard that from, the circle that you listen to or follow on Twitter, but that's what some of the outside circles, the Bay Area people kind of say, where we can get, some stuff done. So Kittle needs to be involved in this game. I know teams try to take him away, but Kittle needs to be involved. The Niners got to figure out a way. Jimmy needs to get out of the pocket. We got to get Jimmy moving. I was so mad watching that divisional game with him just being a complete statue.
Yeah.
I remember tweeting, and pardon my French, everybody, but I said, I called him a punk ass bitch. I told him I said, throw the ball, you punk. I was so mad because he was holding it on. Like, what are you doing? I never get that bad to where I have to go and swear on social media. But I was hot during that game.
Yeah.
He was pissing me off. But then, things worked out. But yeah, I've been really good all season, not really getting too pissed off at about a lot of things. But man, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to be more positive too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talking going in the chat right now about the Rams. We got the Ramalia Sports Report and Luke Luna going at it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a huge fan of the Ramalia Sports Report and Luke Luna. Luke
Luna's one of the best dudes outside of YouTube.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've interacted with him, outside, and he's looking to do stuff on YouTube one day. It's not technology is hard for some people, and I understand that. So one of these days, I told him just start small. Come into chats if people have call-ins or something, and get your voice and maybe your face out that way, and then eventually kind of move yourself into doing, even if it's short videos where you're just doing a reaction video. Or
dude, if you look at my early videos, I didn't know how to do any of this. Even a year ago, it's me with my phone going, the Rams traded for Stafford, and I'm just so shaky and not confident at all. And then you get up and it just happens.
He says, Great guest, awesome stream. Question: I see Grant Cohn asking for Kyle to start Trey. What do you think of that? I say yes. Let him in versus Donald and company. He's always been an advocate of Trey Lance. He thinks that the Niners would be close, if not in the same place, with Lance over Garoppolo. I disagree. I think Garoppolo does have experience over Lance.
Yeah.
But as far as on the field physical talent, yeah, I mean, the kid he's got wheels. He's got a strong arm. He's athletic. He's tough. He just lacks the one thing that Jimmy has is experience. You're not going to put a rookie in the NFC Championship game. That you want to get fired doing something stupid, do that. If the Niners lose this game and their quarterback play is shaky, you're going to see why they made the decision that they made last year to draft the quarterback. Jimmy has been a great pro. He's been a consummate professional. He does win games. He is responsible for some of those wins, but the team around him is pretty good too.
Yep.
But the lack of being able to stay healthy and just the physical limitations. This is the age of the athletic, strong arm, mobile quarterback. Look at the freaking Bills. I was going to ask you, it was one of my topics. That Bills-Chiefs game was one of the most entertaining games I've ever seen in my entire life.
Loved it.
Two young gunslingers, big quarterbacks that, like, I was jealous. I'm like, we can't do none of that. And I felt bad because I'm not crapping on Jimmy. He can't do that. It's not possible. That's not his game. Jimmy almost reminds me of a point guard. He's a facilitator. He's got all these weapons around him at his disposal, but he has like a turn, like when like Russell Westbrook, he turns the ball over a lot in basketball.
Yeah.
He can be really, really good. And then all of a sudden, he has like 10 turnovers and they lose a game. That's kind of like with Jimmy. Jimmy has the ability to get it to all these great guys around him, but he gets in his own way sometimes. So,
well, he always plays good against the Rams. Like,
he does.
So, yeah.
But I think that's more of a thing of familiarity.
Yeah.
He knows what you guys do on defense. You guys know what we do on defense. So I think he'll play well in this game, Jimmy. At least I hope he does. But if Jimmy plays well in this game, and I'll say this, and I'm not trying to be cocky, I think we have a really good chance of beating you guys in your own place. I think Jimmy is the key. If he plays really well, then other players don't have to play out of their gourd in order for us to win. If Jimmy plays how he's been playing the last couple weeks, this game might get away from us quickly. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I think Jimmy is the key. As much as a lot of Niner fans, some of us are like, don't want to hear that. I think he is.
Yeah. And I think, I think this is one of those games that we can analyze. We know our players, we know our opponent, as fans. So the reality is, I do kind of disagree with you just because I do think Jimmy is going to have a good game. I really think it's going to come down to maybe Jimmy or Stafford throw that costly interception or that muff punt, that fumble. Like, I really do think it's going to be an escalated mistake, in the third or fourth quarter that really kind of bring it to this game. But I actually like, and again, I'm not an expert analyst or anything like that. I don't claim to be. I am a dude on YouTube who loves talking football.
Yep, same here.
I really think this game is going to be a higher scoring game. I think both teams get into the 30s. And I think that, Jimmy is going to, leave some question marks on the Niners fandom, whether he wins or loses this game. And as a football fan, I'll give props to Jimmy G. There were so many people that were calling for him to get benched all season long, and the dude's got his team in the NFC title game, right? And maybe it wasn't pretty at times. It definitely wasn't pretty at times. But credit to him. He's a quarterback of a team in the NFC title game. But I do think that the keys to this game will be, I believe both teams are going to execute. I really do. But it will be what is that mistake, that turning point in the game that favors and one team is able to capitalize on it just enough to win this game.
You're right. Both these quarterbacks have that ability to do something that is just it can get a hole put in your wall or a shoe through at your TV or something if you're one of those kind of people, or you can shoot your TV like they showed this one I forgot what team was it, a Cowboys fan, he punched and broke his TV off his wall and then shot it. Like, dude, it's wow.
How much did you love beating the Cowboys in that?
Oh, that was great. That was so great. I have two really good friends who are Cowboys fans, so I felt bad for them. But other than that,
I don't watch a lot of like First Take and stuff like that.
No, I can't watch any of those shows.
But like, I'll admit, I tuned in for like we live in an age where Stephen A. Smith gets to roast Cowboy fans for like 15 minutes on a Monday, and it's literally him laughing at crying Cowboys fans.
That was really funny.
Like I was like, you know what? This is one of the best episodes of First Take ever. Like,
so let's transition into something that I know you know about and that's been talked about in the media so far, and that's the red out. The Niners looking to overtake that building again. It's weird. The Rams kind of remind me almost of the Miami Dolphins a little bit. Like, you're in these markets where like football's kind of not the first or second sport, I guess. And, or just, like the Tampa Bay Rays, they live in a retirement home area of the country. So people don't go to freaking baseball games.
Yeah.
LA is kind of, they're kind of, what is it? Bougie. It's a different area of the country. You get your Midwestern teams that the fan bases are so diehard. What do you think about the Niners fans possibly taking over this stadium again? And how much of that will affect the game? Because I think it has an effect. I don't think it has a complete effect, but I think there is an effect to the game in some aspects. What do you think?
Yeah, I've actually looked into detail about this, and I try to take a little more rational approach to it. And the reality is the San Francisco 49ers have won 6 Super Bowls. They've stayed in the Bay Area.
They've won 5.
So, sorry, 5. They're looking for their 6. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah.
I wish.
Thank you for granting. They've stayed in the Bay Area. They're their entire team, they haven't moved around. And so they're one of the historic franchises that have an embedded fan base that travels well, right? In contrast, the Rams are a team who there's still LA fans that don't like the Rams because they left, and even though they came back. There's all the Ram fans from St. Louis who were hurt by them leaving, right? Hey, what's up, Jade?
She's great. I love her.
Oh, Jade's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm curious when the Vikings finally get a head coach to see her video of that. Because she was kind of done with Zimmer.
She's a lot like me in ways, but she'll actually put it on video, like the negativity, how she really feels. Whereas some people are always like you and Jay are all about, well, and I'm just like, and she's just like, no, this person sucks. They gotta go. I'm just like, yeah, I get hyped. That hypes me.
Totally.
Right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
to. No. Hey, Jay's a good interruption. Absolutely. But I as I was saying, the Rams actually, when they moved back to LA, they kind of had to rebuild a fan base a bit. And the reality is we have a lot of new fans recently. But they're that you still have to build that, right? And the Rams do have a lot of fans, absolutely they do. And I'm an East Coast Rams fan up in Canada near Toronto. But I really do think that in comparing the fan base population, the Niners have more fans. There's a significant Niner fan base in LA, right? There are Niners fans who have season tickets to the Rams. They sell off all 7 of the other games and go to the one game a year that the Niners play there. And so I try to kind of have that perspective in it. And then when I initially saw this happen, I was like, is this really what we have to do, like, to get Ram fans in there? But then I looked a little bit more into it. It's actually an NFL policy designed to protect smaller market teams from, like, if you get like a team like the Jaguars, who have like the lowest fan base, and if they got a chance to host a playoff game, and like say the Steelers came into them, Steelers fans would invade it, right? So that's in place so that you can, when it comes to playoff tickets, you can kind of set like your ticket master sales to a certain geological area of your, like, where your team plays. So when you break it down, it does make sense. I don't think I really do think there's going to be more Rams fans there than there was week 18, but I'm still expecting a large Niners fandom, in the crowd. And I see Silly Fun Guy here saying he's worried about this game. Don't think there's a better opponent for them to face. We need to win to deserve. Yeah, no, I agree with Silly Fun Guy. Like, if
that's how I feel if we were to win and beat you guys and face the Chiefs. I mean, as much as I wouldn't want to face the Chiefs, what better way to get revenge than beat the team that beat you? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, no, absolutely. And but anyway, I'll finish off my rant about saying the reality is the Rams are building their fan base back up since moving back to LA. And again, I do think it's been growing. SoFi has definitely helped. And I think, like, we have at times this season seen the Rams home field advantage. If you look to the Bears game and the Bucks game in the season, there were reports of that stadium just being ridiculously loud, that Tom Brady couldn't talk to his line, or the Bears were struggling to call a play at times. So we have seen it's happen, but it's and Luke Luna, I'm not saying LA is a small market team by any means. I'm saying they're a team that they're still, they're back in LA after being gone for 20 years. They've only been there since 2016, so 5 years in scheme of things isn't that long for an NFL team to be in a city. And yeah, we gotta keep winning, and we gotta keep building that fan base. We gotta keep having kids and families go to SoFi, have those experiences, becoming lifelong Rams fans. And I like my channel, even like a lot of my demographics, they're pretty skewed. Like, I have older fans and kind of fans around my age and your age, but then I actually have a significant, younger population of fans too, right? That in that 17 and up, like 25 graphic. So yeah,
my nephew's a 26, I think, and he was born the summer of 95. The Niners, of course, played, I think, in January of 95, the last Super Bowl they won. So me and him, I've seen the Niners win and he hasn't. And the last two losses have been really tough because more for him, because it's like he's seen the Niners get to the Super Bowl twice in his lifetime and they haven't sealed the deal.
Right.
So he called me right after we beat the Packers, and he's like, I can't believe it. I'm like, I know, we're in the championship game. This is ridiculous because we started so bad this year. I mean, so bad. We were so bad, but we were in a lot of these games, like the game against Green Bay where we lost at the end, and just a lot of these games we were just beating ourselves where, we're doing well, and then all of a sudden we start turning the ball over, penalties, just idiotic. Special teams has played horrible all year, and finally we have one game in the playoffs. We've been like one of the only team they said that was worse than at special teams in the 49ers was the Packers, and the Packers showed it. And they say 2 out of 3 phases win you a game, and sometimes one phase can completely lose you a game. So hey, people are they're crapping on the Niners, saying, oh, the Niners could barely score any points. Dude, whatever, it's the playoffs.
Yeah.
One team could play completely different going into another game. So I think the Niners offense might be, like you said, they might be better, but I'm still a little bit concerned just with the way they've been playing. So, but we'll see. I mean, the Cowboys have a pretty decent defense,
and like the reality
rush.
The reality is this game, it's a new adventure. It's not going to be a replay of Week 18.
No.
It might have a similar outcome and some similar aspects of it, but execution is going to be different. The players who make the plays are going to be different. And yeah, I'm excited for this game, and I don't know. I'm optimistic that the Rams can win.
Any injury concerns you guys have? Because I know the Niners have a ton.
Yeah, we are looking pretty healthy. Andrew Whitworth, we're still not sure if he's going to play. And Taylor Rapp, one of our starting safeties, is still technically in concussion protocol, but there's a good chance that he does play, even though the guy that's been replacing him, Nick Scott, has been balling out. And so even if he does play, I'm not sure he's going to get his job back.
So Trent Williams got an ankle injury in the last game. They turned out negative. It wasn't like a fracture. I don't know if it was a high ankle sprain or a normal. Who knows if he's going to play this Sunday, which I think is huge. Debo was dinged up a little bit. He got like a helmet to the knee, I think. Ambry Thomas, our corner, is a little dinged up.
But Debo's playing. There's no way Debo's not playing.
Right. I'm trying to think who else got dinged up in that game that I'm worried about. But the Niners, that was a physical game against the Packers.
Yeah.
That's just the style the Niners play. So their injury list always seems to be quite large. I'll say we're the healthiest we've been in a long time, and we have all our linebacking core. I think we have one of the best young linebacking cores in the NFL with Azeez Al-Shaair, Dre Greenlaw, and Fred Warner. If there's one area of this team that I think is our strongest, is there. Yeah. So hopefully they play well against you guys. Like I said, this game's going to come down to some matchups that both teams are going to at least try to contain said matchup. They might not completely shut out the guy or guys, but if we let Cooper Kupp run wild, it's gonna be a long game. Because he did early in that game, and then we kind of shut him down towards the end. But I do fear him more than anybody on your offense, and that's just because look at his statistics this year.
Yeah.
And like you said, with us, it's Debo's probably going to do his thing, but what other players can kind of weasel their way into the offensive game plan and make some plays. Luke Luna had a good point here. He said we lost our running backs and defensive players, but since week 8, we have the best record in the NFC. We figured it out. Yeah, the Niners have been one of the strongest teams since week 8. That's it. That's what a lot of people were saying when the Niners were going in the playoffs, and now a lot of teams want to face them. And I completely agree. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because I think people keep saying we're a lot like the Giants from 2007, the ones that beat the Patriots. Let's stop with all that talk. I hate that stuff. I hate that kind of talk because then if we don't win, it's going to be like, well, I thought we were the Giants, of that particular year. So shut up, everybody. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
We're the 49ers of 2021, 22.
New team.
Enough with that mess.
Yeah. New team, new adventure. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And I see Silly Fun Guy, who again has one of the coolest usernames in all of YouTube.
That's awesome.
I know he's saying Joe Noteboom is out. I have not seen if that's confirmed. Silly Fun Guy. That would be a downer for the Rams. He's our backup tackle, but he can play every position on the O-line. But he's often the first one to back up Whitworth at left tackle. But we'll see.
God's Hammer made a good point. He said we still need to get Stafford correct. Niners pass rush in the last 3 weeks, I think, has like 15 sacks. We're getting like a 5-sack average game. So yeah, we definitely have to hit Stafford and hit him a lot. No quarterback likes to get hit. You guys like to throw the ball. That's a given. So that's an important, that kind of ties into Hip Hip Lady. I think she had a question of who throws the first interception, Debo or Jimmy or Jimmy or Stafford. That both I think will, at least from Stafford's point of view, I think pressure might be, dictate that because Jimmy had a throw. I forgot what game it was. It might have been against you guys. I'm trying to think who it was. He got hit as he threw. I think it might have been Dallas. I don't know who he threw the interception to, but he got hit like midsection as he threw it. And that thing just like shot up into the air. So pressure matters. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big you are or how small you are a quarterback. It all matters. So
absolutely. And So, something that I think, outside of quarterbacks in this game, we haven't talked a lot about the run game of either team. Something I really appreciate about the run game of the Niners and the run game of the Rams is they're very similar zone run games, right? However, the Niners is definitely more north and south running, where the Rams is definitely more east and west. That's something I've always found fascinating, is that they're very similar in their design, but and how they're practically ran on the field. And obviously the Niners, they can have these long 15 to 20 play drives that staying up, but the Rams are sort of a like, all right, we'll take a 3-yard gain, we'll take a 6-yard gain, and then on the first, we'll grind after like 6 plays, we'll take a shot down the field and try and get that 40-yard gain for a touchdown or more, like. And it's just interesting to me how like there are similarities in the offense, but like they're still very different in the way that they call them and execute them in the game. And partly that's the personnel you have too, I guess.
I want to give a shout out to Kelts Chronicles. He's a newer YouTuber.
Oh,
I
cool. Hey,
discovered him. I forgot how it happened, but he's like, I like his delivery. He's different. Like I always tell you, like how Jay is a certain way and how this person's a certain way. He just has more of, I don't know, positive, another positive content creator with like cool vibe. He says Shan versus McVay, Brunskill versus Donald, who's Debo, Stafford's wife, Levi South, and the stuff with Ward. NFC West rivals, ticket sales, winner goes to the Super Bowl. Absolutely wild, incredible. Yeah, this is just juicy. I can't wait. I cannot wait. This is gonna be great. Yeah. Ambry Thomas asked me about Ambry Thomas did not ask me. God's Hammer asked me. He had a knee bruise, I think, before going into the last game that was pretty bad. So they ended up not starting him. I think we need him against the Rams, even though, he's had his growing pains this year. He's turning in. He's the one that got the game sealing interception the last game. So, do I think, he's still a rookie and he might, give us a couple reasons to get pissed off? Absolutely. But that's like every player. It's not just rookies.
Yeah.
Luke Luna with the $2 super chat. He says, love you, buddy. Sunday is going to be quite the ride. I totally agree. Win or lose, man. It's been a great season. Absolutely. This is definitely a season that I came in with higher expectations, and then they lowered. I remember having a couple streams in the middle of the year saying, Niner fans, you need to reevaluate your expectations. Yeah. This team is talented, but they're hurt and they're just not disciplined. And I talked a lot about, hey, let's trade Kittle. I was an idiot. Fire the coach. Yeah.
I remember you had one title. I forgot on thumb, and you were like stream delayed till tomorrow, but don't worry, no one's safe.
That's right. Well, because there's just games this year where they're just like, the opponent didn't beat them. They beat themselves.
Yeah.
You okay, for instance, your opponent comes in and just boat races you. And that's why I say, like, the national media doesn't ever give the Niners credit when they win. That's fine, whatever. But, like, try to give credit to people when they do well. Aaron Rodgers said that straight up the Niners defense confused him. They showed a lot of different looks. They had pressure in his face. He said the Niners defense just played really, really well in that game. And I was like, wow, that came from Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So he gave the Niners credit. I think the Niners in that game it was one of those games where things just bounced our way. That's how football is sometimes. And I know you agree, Zach. Things just bounce your way. Some games they don't.
Yeah.
It's like, prepare yourself and be completely prepared and do your best you can. But then there's also going to be weird things that happen in games. Like when we lost to the Seattle Seahawks, not the Seattle Seahawks, but the Packers with like 34 seconds left again during the early part of the year. And then you see this happen in the playoffs. They had 13 seconds and the Bills still lost.
Yeah.
That's insane. So I everything to me is something that can happen. Like nothing is I'm 42 years old. I've seen everything there is to see on the football field as far as watching it. So zero surprises me. I don't know. You're not as old as me, but I know you agree that like at this point in your life, nothing surprises you anymore.
Oh yeah, maybe it doesn't surprise me, but I still can embrace the enjoyment of it for sure. And like seeing Mahomes drive down the field with 19 seconds left is so entertaining to see, right? And I even think of like, there's so many variables to every football game. Like think of something as simple as a punt, right? There's so much that can go wrong on a punt, from the long snap to the punter getting it off and getting blocked. And then even if he punts it, a football can land in so many different ways because of its shape. So say the ball lands at the 5-yard line. If it lands a certain way, it's bouncing into the end zone for a touchback. If it lands just a certain different way, it might be able to like get a soft bounce that your gunner can come down and he's able to kind of down it at the 1, or it can land a certain way that it kind of settles within the 10-yard line or bounces out of bound, and like that's just a punt, let alone all the other variables that can happen and it's why football is my favorite sport.
Luke Luna was pointing out that we didn't have Kwan Williams in the last game. I feel like our secondary, I don't know if Emmanuel Mosley played in that game. I think he did. But just having Emmanuel Mosley back and having hopefully Ambry Thomas play, putting our corners in their respective slots, guys playing in their position. Emmanuel Mosley's like an undrafted free agent, I think he was. He's a solid corner. He's not great. He'll give up catches. He'll give up a touchdown here, but he's one of our better corners. You mix that with a young rookie that's just getting better and better. It's going to be a good test for us. Having, mostly, if not all of our secondary healthy. Our pass rush looks pretty good. So this game's going to be fun. I like when both teams are relatively healthy, so you can kind of take out the excuses of like, oh, we weren't healthy in that game. I hate that. I mean, it is true to an extent. If you're without your best players and you lose, you can say that. But I rather that not be the case. So I'm glad everybody is relatively healthy. If you lose, at least you lose with no regrets and no mistakes. Somebody asked me what happened to Raheem Mostert. He got injured. Michael?
He's a great guy.
He got injured week 1. Tore his knee or hurt his knee really bad, and so he missed the whole season.
That sucks.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not back next year. But if he does come back, really low team-friendly deal. The Niners have to start moving on from these injured players, these Veretts, these Mosleys, or not Mosleys, these Raheems. One of the biggest issues with the Niners over the last however many years, even going before the Shanahan and Lynch era, was just the ability to just not keep players healthy. So one way you do that is don't sign or draft people with injury histories.
Wow.
And then wonder why you have injured pros. If they're injured in college all the time, they're going to be injured in the pros, which is more physical and more demanding, and you play more games. The Niners they took some people off their boards this year, I heard, in the draft because of injury concerns. So I was really happy about that.
Well, maybe the Niners need to hire you, Aaron, to just sit in their scouting department, and whenever they get excited about a player, you just like look through hospital logs and see if their name's there.
Oh, I could totally do that. Everybody would hate me. Everybody. Logan did make a good point here. He said Jimmy did nothing against the Packers. Special teams won that game. Yep, it happens. Jimmy is who he is. I mean, everybody knows it at this point.
And again, that Packers Niners playoff game, it was like beautifully hideous football, and like mostly because of the weather. Like that was a punt fest to the max. Like mistakes, penalties by both teams. But I can appreciate a game like that as a football fan. And the reality is that special team play was the turning point the Niners needed to make sure they won that game with a field goal.
Yeah, different game. I mean, every game is its own entity. It really, and that game just happened to be super cold. The Niners started that game with a couple drops that were just like
Yeah, I remember
eyes
that.
were wide open.
The one to Kittle, the slant route to Kittle, that like he probably would have caught a touchdown, but
Oh,
he just uncharacteristically dropped it. Yeah.
question for you as we wrap this up.
Yeah.
If your team wins, who do you
Yeah.
want to face in the Super Bowl?
Oh, Aaron. I honestly haven't thought a lot about it just because I've
That's what
been
I
so
thought.
focused on this game. Um, it'd be fun to face the Chiefs again. I believe that would be a higher scoring game. It'd be fun to face like I'll be honest, like that O line of the Bengals, I don't think matches up well with the Niners or the Rams. Um, and I actually think that the Bengals, if they have any shot of beating the Chiefs, they're gonna need Mixon to have a bit of a good game. That's my own personal hot take there. Because like on paper, just at the level Mahomes is playing the past two playoff games and the latter part of the season, I would have a hard time picking the Bengals to beat the Chiefs. But yeah, like dude, if my team makes it to the Super Bowl, I'll be stoked no matter who they're playing. Yeah. What about you? Do you have a
Uh,
preference?
I would much rather play the Bengals because I think we match up better with them speed
Yeah.
wise. The Chiefs just pose all sorts of issues with speed. Um,
Yeah.
the Niners are a fast team. That Super Bowl, it was like the cap was about to come off that soda and spray everywhere at some point in that game.
Yeah.
And it finally did. And I could see it coming. I kept telling him I was watching the game with my mom because my brother's like, I got to go somewhere else because you stress me out. I stress people out when I watch games. So I told her, I said, this game, if the Niners don't continue to score, it's going to come back to bite them. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
The Chiefs went on like one of their typical Chiefs, like boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden they're down, they're down 10 and they win by 11. It's like,
It's
what
crazy.
happened? So yeah, it's going to be, I also, because I think the Niners need to beat the Bengals just one more time to just be 3-0 in the Super Bowl against them. I have a old coworker. She's an older woman. She's been a Bengals fan since before I was born. She's never seen them win a Super Bowl. So part of me is like, I don't want it to be the Bengals, but then part of me is kind of like, just want to take that and just drive it in a little deeper. That pain. So I don't know, man. You're right. I'm more worried about this game. We'll worry about it after. It just sucks. Like, the NFC Championship is great and everything, and you win it. But if you lose the Super Bowl, I'm one of those people where like it doesn't even really matter after because it's like why we lost the more important game. I sometimes look at things in a negative light because I'm used to the old school Niners where if you didn't win a Super Bowl, your season was
Yeah.
considered a failure.
The
Whereas a lot of
expectation.
franchises don't look at it like that. So I kind of feel always like if we don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure. But if I had to look at this season in a looking back after everything is over, whenever that is, I think the Niners really they've given me a lot of hope for the future if they can keep some of this core together with a young good quarterback.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, I and the reality is even this offseason, like the Niners are gonna be a different looking team next year. The
Yeah,
Rams are gonna be a different looking team. We are gonna be a really interesting team, especially in the first part of the offseason, just because we have a bunch of dead money coming off the books. Finally, get rid of the Cooks, Goff, and Gurley money. And so we have a lot of players to resign. We're not going to be able to bring everyone back, and so we're going to have some players leave. Despite what people think, we still do have draft picks to use. They're just in the later part of the draft. I actually can I tell you one thing that this is a very personal
sure.
little annoyance about the Niners beating the Packers. As a Rams fan from Canada who lives in a place where currently it is between like minus 20 and minus 25 Fahrenheit.
Sweet.
Um, I had this great video idea that if the Rams had to go to Lambeau to play the Packers, I was gonna do like my tips to the Rams of how to play football in the snow.
That would be awesome.
I've played a ton of snow football in my life.
Me
And I'm
too.
like, oh yeah, because you know snow, and I wanted to give all the tips for playing football in the snow to the Rams, but I'll have to wait until another day to make that video because it makes no sense for me to make it now.
Luke Luna said, it's better than not making the playoffs. I really enjoy the games and the ride we've been on this season. I'd say is a success. Yeah. I definitely feel that way too. But man, I'm almost, I said this to my brother. I said, this is like the Niners are playing with house money. Whatever, how their season ends, it's kind of, it's extra because I didn't expect the Niners after a certain point this year to make this run. I just didn't. And if other Niner fans said they expected it, you're lying. You're lying. The Niners look like dead in the water. Did I think the Niners had a chance to at least be competitive this year and come back and probably get in the playoffs? Yeah, of course. But if you looked at the Niners, how we were playing early in the year, and you could say, yeah, I knew we were going to be here. You're full of garbage. I don't care how faithful you are. Don't be one of those kind of people that like tries to be like the ultimate optimist. Whatever. Even look, dude, listen. Jay in the Bay is one of the most positive 49er fans you will ever meet.
Absolutely.
After I forgot what game it was where Jimmy played bad, the Niners played bad. He's like, I'm done. And I was like, whoa, what? What happened? He's like, I'm finished with this dude. So even Jay was at that point. So he's the most real fan. He'll never give up on the Niners, and he'll always support whoever's playing. But he was there at this certain points of this year, and I was too. So it's nice to see a little bit of realism from people who are always super positive that they actually get negative sometimes. So, I'm in Rochester, New York, so it's pretty cold over here. Not quite where you are cold, but we have pretty dramatic winters, especially if you live closer to Lake Ontario.
Yeah,
it's a lot colder and a lot more snow.
Yeah, because as I recall, like you guys got a storm season coming up in February, right?
Yeah, we got banged with a couple snow storms, and I think we have another one on its way too. It's fun. I get to snow blow the driveway and act like I'm a real man. At 42, looking like I'm all tough guy. Look at me in my big 49ers jacket and 49ers hat doing the snow. Woo! Somebody drove past me. Some car drove past me the other day, smelling of marijuana, right? They went down to a house. I don't know if they were like whatever they were doing. As they came back up the street, dude was driving by, staring at me in my jacket and like just kind of with this glazed look in his eyes. And I was just like, what up? I was totally like feeling it. Like, look at this beautiful jacket that I have. You know, the one I'm talking about, the gold one that I had in my profile the other day, the Faithful to the Bay jacket. It's like the old school gold. Oh, I love that thing. I never had one of those as a kid. So I had to get one I bought my nephew one too. He didn't know I bought it for him a couple months ago. And he was like, what? He's like, I'm never going to take this off.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, hey, it's been fun.
Dude, it's been a blast.
Regardless of the outcome of the game, I still like you. I think you're a cool dude. I consider you a friend.
Absolutely.
So mazel tov to whoever wins. I want it to be the Niners, of course. I don't want to see the Rams in the Super Bowl, but we have no control over this thing, bro. We're just fans.
I want to show you one thing before we end off.
Sure.
So I do a watch party for every Rams game, and I'm going to be doing that. And every time, I've had a tradition this year that every time Cooper Kupp scores, I eat a Reese's Pieces Buttercup.
Yep.
And during the playoffs, I did something a little special. I actually had a subscriber send this to me, and he was like, eat this when Kupp breaks Calvin Johnson's record. Well, it came a little bit short, so I turned it into the playoff Reese Cup. And here it is here.
Whoa.
It was a half-pound Reese Cup. And every time he scores, I take a bite out of it.
You're whittling it down little by little.
And I'm hoping the final bite comes in the Super Bowl. But I'm hoping I get to take at least one bite out of this on Sunday. That's the hope.
That is a gigantic Reese's peanut butter cup.
I didn't know they made these until.
Oh, that's I mean, I like them, but whoo, that's too much. That's too rich.
Yeah, I definitely could not eat this in one sitting, but it's fun a bite at a time.
Luke Luna could say it no better. He says they love Jimmy, win, lose, or draw. It's the playoffs. Our team is going to fight. This will be the most physical game the 49ers play versus the Rams. I agree.
Yeah.
You got to leave it all out there in the field. And I know, Peo, I know you agree that when it's the playoffs, you can't hold anything back. No, people who are mostly usually hurt and won't play usually play in the playoffs, because we thought people in the 80s, I think it might have been either Rob Shue or Jesse Naylor I had on my channel. He said that the Dolphins thought they were going to get back but Marino, and they never had that opportunity ever again in Marino's career. So like players, you never know when your opportunity is going to come to be playing in the playoffs again or in the Super Bowl. So if you're dinged up and you might usually miss games during the regular season, you're playing.
Yeah.
You tape that son up and you get it shot up with something and you go play. Yeah. Yeah. So I can't wait.
Well, and even like I try to encourage, younger fans who don't necessarily understand, because even like as a little kid, when I became a fan of the Rams, they won the Super Bowl in '99. And then they went back in 2001, and I just remember kind of thinking like, oh, my team's always going to be like this. And I think it's one of those things that you have to understand, like there is such a thing as Super Bowl windows.
Yep.
Even if you have a team that has sustained success for a while, it's not every year that you get a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And so I celebrate that with the rest of, the Ramley, and absolutely, I can celebrate that with yourself and other 49ers fans that, our team's made it here, and we can get excited, and, whoever comes out on top gets to go to the bowl. And
regardless of what other people's fans of other teams, say about us negatively, I can't think of the word, how to say it.
That's
negatively.
It's a word.
Our teams are the ones playing with the right to go to the dance. So
absolutely,
save all your whatever. Yeah. Your team didn't get here, so
yeah,
whatever to you. And I'm not that kind of guy. I never get like that. But sometimes I see people say, "Well, if that was my team, we would have." Bro, your team didn't make the playoffs. So enough with what you think. I don't want to hear it. So
I saw some Packers fans on Twitter that were like, "Can we talk about how this is the worst NFC Championship game in 3 years because the Packers aren't there?" And I'm like,
whatever,
dude. Like, I think this is. I love that Brady and Rodgers aren't in.
Me too. Get sick of it after a while.
Yeah, no,
want some fresh meat. Even if the Chiefs were to win another one, as much as I don't want to see it, I'd much rather see Mahomes because he's likable. His wife ain't likable and his brother ain't likable, but he's likable.
Yeah.
But Jimbo made a good point here. He says Rodgers and Breeze only one Super Bowl like each, I think.
Yeah.
The chances are rare. Yeah. It's true.
Absolutely, Jimbo King. Yeah. That's a great username. Jimbo
King.
Hey,
before we go, you want to plug your channel and let people know where they could find you, even if they're not Rams fans, or if they are Rams fans, where to go?
Yeah. Whether you're a Rams fan or not, I love talking football. I love hearing perspectives that aren't my own. And whether I agree or disagree, or you agree or disagree with me, I believe we can have a genuine, intelligent conversation. I do a watch party for each and every game. So even if you're a Niners fan, feel free to come to my watch party. We have a pretty chill community that loves to chat about the game with each other, and I try my best to engage with the viewers during the game. And then you can it's Peo time on YouTube, just like my name here, I don't know if this is gonna work. Yeah, PAYO time. It's if you put that in the search, I'm the first one that comes up. Because I'm thankful for a unique name on YouTube.
And I definitely am looking forward to the off season when we could do some crossover stuff.
Dude, I still remember when we did that movie stream where
we picked our favorite football movies of all time. That was such a rarity. It was fun because it's like not serious at all. It was just about silly movies and not like fake territorial stuff about teams that we have no stake in and we
Yeah.
just cheer for, that
Yeah.
we
No,
think
absolutely.
like our opinion matters about what we think about them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like doing off season stuff. I definitely look forward to like having people on and maybe
Mhm.
talking like a off season, like free agency or what your team's going to do in the draft. I mean, you guys we don't have a first rounder either, at least not yet. So
Mhm.
we'll see. It's going to
And,
be an interesting off season for sure. That fact that both of our teams got as far as they did. So
yeah, no, hey, and as much as I've enjoyed this season, and I am one of those people that gets a little sad when football's not on anymore.
me too. I was just telling
Um,
my brother about that. Yep.
I am looking forward to the off season just because I felt last year a lot of I was learning a lot about how to be a YouTuber and covering the Rams, where this year I have a lot more stuff kind of planned out of what I'm gonna do. I want to cover some history of the Rams and do some other kind of fun trivia events, things like that, to really engage with people. And yeah, I'm stoked for the off season.
Yeah, I'm looking to trying to get players on. I'm trying to, and I've reached out to so many players. They don't really respond, and I understand. You have a zillion people probably asking you stupid things and
Yeah.
requests and stuff, but I'm going to keep trying. I actually sent one to our long snapper. A lot of people know who Tabor is,
Oh,
so
cool.
Tabor, he's an interesting dude. But my whole thing is with my channel is to just keep doing what I do. And I'm never going to be, at least I don't think I'm going to be, the Grant Cohn level channel. And that's fine, whatever. I think I've hit to where a spot where regardless, I'm pretty happy with where I've gotten to from where
Mhm.
I started. So anything else extra to me is just pro bono. So,
Yeah.
and I just have a fun time sharing interaction with 49er faithful and even faithful of other teams.
Cool.
Because most of you guys are pretty cool. I mean, we have some tools, no matter what chats you're in, that just come in
Yeah.
here and spam, pornography or
Yeah.
stupid other crap. But for the
Yeah.
most part, everybody's pretty good. So, hey, bro, I had a good time.
Yeah, man.
I definitely look forward to doing this with you again. Regardless of who wins, bro, stay safe and healthy, and don't stay out in the cold too much. Stay in the house. I don't
Yeah.
know if you're in a base. Is that your basement that you're in?
Yeah, it's a basement. Yeah.
I love the brick and the ceiling and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I
It's
I
nice.
I had to, just because of life circumstances, I had an apartment, but that my landlord sold it, so I had to move, and so I'm at my parents for the winter and
It's
just
fine. I've
have,
done that.
hey, no, it's a part of it, but I'm definitely excited for the spring. I have plans to get my new setup for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for
Bye,
everybody who's in
everyone.
the chat. Who I didn't call on a lot of people this time, but thank you everybody who commented and subscribed and liked. And till next time, as I always say to everybody, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see everybody on the flip side. See ya.